born beneath a star, not of celebration, but of contrast, a sign that even in the light of creation, struggle could seep into the hearts of men. My earliest memories are of warm, sunlit days in Nazareth, where I learned the humble craft of carpentry from my earthly father. I recall the texture of fresh cedar and the comforting weight of a chisel in my hand. Yet, even then, as I shaped wood into objects of both beauty and function, I sensed a deeper, unsettling truth: that creation itself bore the marks of fragile hope. In the quiet workshop, amid shavings and sawdust, I would often gaze at the simple forms and furnishings and wonder why the world, crafted by a loving creator, was so often marred by brokenness, anger, and sorrow. I watched neighbors bicker, and I heard stories of strife. The rough-hewn wood, polished slowly by generations, reminded me that even the simplest substance could be transformed into something good, something holy, if only one's heart were open to be so. But honesty and openness, I feared, was becoming a rarity among men. There was a quiet ache in me, a sense that the beauty of life was vulnerable to the hands of those who could not see the sanctity of all creation, of all life. As I grew in wisdom and in stature among the people, I set forth on a path of ministry. I healed the sick, fed the hungry, and preached of a kingdom of love, a promise of salvation from sin and despair. In those days, miracles unfolded like petals of divine lotus flower. Water turned to wine, the lame walked, and even the blind saw a glimpse of a higher calling. Yet, with every act of healing, my heart grew heavier, with more despair. I witnessed a world entangled with power, greed, and indifference to others' suffering. Even as I cast out demons and comforted the downtrodden, I was haunted by the pain with which humans treated one another and with which they treated the animals they had been sent to shepherd, the very creatures that shared our fragile earth with us, as my Lord intended. In the marketplaces and in the fields, I saw men herding beasts without remorse, their eyes cold and their hearts calloused by ignorance. The call for mercy rang hollow in the face of such needless suffering. My teachings, meant to illuminate the path toward a just and more compassionate life, were met with both hope and steadfast resistance. I spoke of love and forgiveness, yet I saw that even in the hearts of those who believed, the seeds of division had been sown by generations of neglect of my sacred Lord. My miracles, once symbols of divine grace, increasingly became witnesses to the complexity of human nature, a nature so capable of both wonder and wickedness. With each passing day, my eyes opened wider to the struggles of humanity and righteousness. I traveled from village to village, from dusty roads to grand cities, witnessing acts of painful injustice. I watched as men, in their ceaseless thirst for power and wealth, turn a blind eye to the suffering of everything and everyone around them. Neighbors betrayed one another, tyrants exploited the weak, and even the animals, the silent, innocent creatures, were burdened by human indifference. In the quiet moments before dawn, when the world was bathed in a dim, uncertain light, I wandered through the outskirts of towns where despair lay in the hearts of men. I heard the anguished cries of those betrayed and the desperate pleas of those denied sacred mercy. It was in these moments that the brokenness of human nature revealed itself in full measure. I was forced to confront a truth that no miracle could obscure, that the capacity for great harm was as inherent in mankind as the capacity for love. The suffering I witnessed tormented me, Each act of hurt, whether inflicted upon a child, a neighbor, or even a humble innocent animal, burdened my immortal soul. I began to question the purpose of my mission. Was it to heal a world already wounded? Was my message of love destined to be drowned by the growing attitude of fear and indifference? In the midst of my miracles, I found myself gripped by an ever-deepening sorrow at the state of the human heart. The tension between my divine purpose and human imperfection reached a fevered pitch as my journey continued. In every sermon, every parable, I attempted to cast a light upon the path of redemption, yet the shadows of despair grew ever larger. I was no longer merely a healer or a teacher. I had become a witness to an endless struggle, a man burdened by the weight of every injustice that had befallen this self-inflicted, wounded world. I would sit quietly by the shores of the Sea of Galilee, contemplating the endless expanse of water, a mirror reflecting the uproar of the world. In those reflective moments, the fragility of human resolve was undeniable. I recalled the stories of betrayal, of kin turning against kin, of the bloodshed that marred the soil of even the holiest lands. I saw the pain in the laughter of the rich, and the coldness in the eyes of those who claimed righteousness. My soul ached for the lost, for the fallen, for every creature that suffered alone, in silence. I began to dread the inevitable, the culmination of a divine plan that had, in my eyes, become a test of endurance. Each step toward Jerusalem was a step toward an inescapable destiny, one that I felt in every troubling beat of my heart. I was growing disillusioned with the promises of salvation, with the hope that light could prevail over this darkness. The weight of human frailty had become too great, and I could no longer hide from the truth that the world I had come to save was, in its very nature, crying out for healing. But was it already too late? Now, I write these final words as I stand on the precipice of my end, a witness to my own death, at the hands of those I once sought to redeem. The day is darkened, not by the gathering of storm clouds, but by the heaviness of hearts blinded by fear and conviction. I remember the scent of bitter incense, the weight of the wooden cross, and the cold, relentless pressure of the nails against my flesh. In that agonizing moment, I felt the full measure of human brokenness, of mankind's end. As I was led to Golgotha, every step was a testament to the pain of a world that had forsaken my Lord's love. I saw the faces of the mob, twisted in anger and revenge, their eyes devoid of understanding. They shouted for retribution, demanding the death of the man who preached only of love and mercy to all life. I looked upon them with sorrow, for I knew that in their hearts lay a struggle so profound that no miracle could fully repair it. Suspended between heaven and earth, I felt the agony of every broken promise and every act of cruelty that had led me to this cross. I cried out to my Father, in heaven, not in anger, but in a longing so deep that even the heavens seemed to mourn with me. In that final hour, I bore witness to the paradox of it all. I had come to offer salvation, to heal the wounds of a broken world, and yet I was condemned by those very souls I had longed to save and bring back to my Father. With each labored breath, I recounted in my heart the lessons of my life, a life spent amid the splendor of creation and the hate-filled hearts of human indifference. I saw before me the faces of all who had suffered, the oppressed, the abandoned, the creatures crushed by the weight of greed, and in that crucible of pain, I felt an overwhelming compassion for humanity, a compassion that mingled with the searing pain of betrayal. In my final moments, as the skies wept and the earth trembled, I surrendered not with bitterness, but with a quiet resolve. I spoke my last words in a trembling whisper, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." In that moment, as my spirit ascended in a burst of divine light, I became both witness and savior, a final, anguished testament to a world yearning for grace, but not understanding. Love was waiting to embrace them. In the echoes of my final breath, the lament of Nazareth endures, a plea for understanding in a realm overwhelmed by endless struggle and unwavering hope. I am gone, yet the agony and beauty of life persist, urging every soul to remember that even the most sacred mission can be tested by the relentless complexity of the human heart.